Hello, how you doing? My name is Rick Moore, owner and operator of Nyla Elise Clothing Company. For everybody that wants to get in touch with me via our social platforms, I just would like to give you all of those right now. Our website is nylaelise.com. Our Instagram is Nyla Elise Clothing. Our Facebook is Nyla Elise. Our Twitter is Nyla Elise. One more time. Our website is nylaelise.com. That's NYLAELISE.com. Our Instagram is Nyla Elise Clothing. Our Facebook is Nyla Elise. And our Twitter is Nyla Elise. So I hope all of you get something good out of this interview we're about to do. And I hope everybody is able to take something away from it and insert it into their journey and be able to make their walk and quest towards greatness. I want to thank St. Augustine University again for inviting me to come speak as their Lyceum speaker. And I want to thank everybody at W.A.U.G. For giving me an opportunity here. Always remember to invest in people who invest in you. I came home from playing football. I was fresh out of college, and I was trying to get on the radio. So I went to Radio 1. I went to a couple other stations around locally, and nobody would give me an opportunity. Nobody would give me a chance. So W.A.U.G. at the time didn't have any shows like mine, which was a barbershop talk show. So it's kind of, we talk about sports, we talk about politics, we talk about music, we talk about everything you would talk about in the barbershop. And I came over here, and at the time, Donald Ware was the GM of the radio station. So I just went to Donald Ware, and I guess I talk to people a lot about being fearless, right? But at the same time, it's easy to be fearless when you don't know any better. And when I mean know any better, it's like the average person was like, you have no radio experience, you have no degree in radio broadcast, you haven't interned anywhere and all of that. And I didn't know you needed all of that. So I just figured anything I could put my mind to, I could do it. So I said, they got a radio station at St. Augustine University. And this older gentleman that was an alumni here, that was an alum here, he told me, he said, yeah, I got a radio station. Have you ever tried, to go over there and talk to him? So I was like, no, but I will tomorrow. Went over to the station, told Mr. Ware, and he looked at me and said, do you have any experience? I said, no, I don't have any experience, but I know I can do this. So what it helped me was, it was a local TV station, Channel 10. It's called RTN, Raleigh Television Network. And my buddy and I, we paid maybe like $50 a month or something like that. I don't know what it was exactly at that time, but it was to the tune of something like $50 to $100, and you get one show per week, and it airs three different times a week. But we had like the late, like 12 midnight spots, no prime time spots. We would put them on DVD. So when we started the show, before we got to the radio, we were doing them in the back of a barbershop. And I would get sponsors like Snoopy's Hot Dogs, Sonic, different things like that. And I would try to make the show more popular by giving away gift cards or Snoopy's Hot Dog value meals and stuff like that. And at the end of every show, we'd be like, hey, don't forget, get your Snoopy's Hot Dog. They're the best in town, or something like that. And we would take a bite out of the hot dog and everything. People laugh at it now, but it was very effective because nobody else was doing that. And we would put these on DVD. So we would do every episode on DVD. So when I came to the radio station, I didn't come empty-handed. I came with something. I came with a DVD with 4 of our shows. Even though they were just bad production, I guess, and everything, it still was something. So Mr. Ware, my whole goal and vision was for him to be able to see something, and he could visualize whatever he wanted to visualize it being in the future in his own mind, in his own head. So I would go to take these DVDs with me everywhere. So I would burn them because I used to sell mixtapes in college. So everywhere I go, I would have a little card with the different mixes, R&B, jazz, hip hop, techno, whatever, right? The mixes were, and I would have them in my car. So if anybody ever wanted to buy them, I would have a little list, and they could look down the list and say, hey, give me that new R&B, or give me that new volume, whatever. So I did the same thing with the DVDs. If I saw somebody with a sports team on their hat or whatever, I would say, hey, here's a DVD, check out a new sports radio show. They don't know if it's a big show or a small show. They just know, hey, check this out. So people started watching it, and they started calling me and saying, hey, I saw you on TV. So basically, I brought these to Mr. Ware when I gave it to him. And long story short, he called me back and he said, hey, can you come in and do a pilot? So I said, yeah, I can do a pilot. He said, I'll give you 2 weeks to get one together. So I didn't even know what a pilot was at that point. Don't rock in the chair. So I didn't even know what a pilot was, right? So at the time, I went and I was like, a pilot, what's a pilot? So I waited for him to, rather than ask him what a pilot was, I just kept acting like I knew what a pilot was. And he was like, yeah, I'm sure you've done a pilot before. Just basically we'll come in here and you'll sit down and go through an hour show. So then I figured out a pilot was an actual show that was you would tape it like a real show, but it was just a practice show for him to see what I could do. So I said, I could do it right now. And he was like, right now? You can do it. You'll need to go study, write down your material or anything. And I was like, nah, I don't need to write down anything. I mean, I never write anything down anyway. I just do it all off the top of my head. It's barbershop talk. So my material comes from things that happened in my life or things that were going on in the world, or of sports or world or whatever at the time. So I go in the booth, I put the headphones on. It was like a second or two where I was like, whoa, this is real. Like, it's really about to happen. I'm about to get on the air. So I do the pilot, do the hour pilot. And I remember it like it was yesterday because it was during the time when the Michael Vick trial and everything was about to start. And I did it, and the next day he called me and said, I want to offer you a year contract. So I was like, whoa. I'm thinking he'll give me a couple episodes, maybe 10 shows or whatever. He gave me a full 52-week, contract. So I took the contract, and we were out of the barbershop. My whole thing was to get out of the back of the barbershop. I was at 5 Star Barbershop, and Ralph Brown really showed me a lot of love. And then Cutting Edge Barbershop, Phil, he let me use his shop sometimes. So what we did was the guys will have posters and everything around the barbershop, like saying, barbershop talk, with Rick Moore 6'4", and it was a guy named Eddie Wright who went to my barbershop. So he was the older gentleman on the show, and then he had a different perspective, and I had a younger person's perspective, probably more gunslinger type of approach, and it worked. So it was barbershop talk with Rick and Eddie. So I was Rick Moore 6'4", he was Eddie Wright. We came together, but when I pitched the show, I was the only one that pitched it to Donald or whatever. So I don't know if he knew I had a partner at that time. Fast forward, we get the show. We get the 52 weeks, but I didn't know we still had to pay for the show. So I was like, whoa, we still got to pay $100 an episode. So that's $400 a month. I'm already struggling financially. I'm like, how can I afford another bill, right? Who needs another bill when you're trying to build something? So I said, go to the barbershop, talk to the guys at the barbershop, go to the hair salons, used to sell mixtapes at, and tell them, what you're trying to do. So I went and I talked to the people at the barbershop. I talked to the people at the hair salon, and I told them, I'll sell you, Rick. All right. So basically, I got the radio show, and I went to the barbershops, and I started getting sponsorship dollars. So the sponsorship dollars helped me tremendously because I didn't have to pay for the show myself. So started getting on the air. We got our first show going. We bumping, and they told me after the first couple shows, they were like, "Hey Rick, you can do this, you can do that, you can do your thing." So when they said do my thing, I'm thinking, let's turn this radio station into what I envision a radio show or radio station looking like. So I go and I get all these posters: Tupac, Biggie, Wu-Tang Clan, everybody, like all the rappers that I like, and I thought should be a part of our thing. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, everybody, big posters. I'm talking about huge posters, like movie-sized posters, right? And we got them all up around the station. Like I'm talking about Tupac with the bandana on, Biggie, rolling dice, all iconic, Muhammad Ali, all iconic type of pictures, right? So we would come in on Saturdays to do our show. So when people got back on Monday, they were in for a rude awakening. But me just being, naive, I thought, hey, you told me I could do my thing. I thought this place needed some sprucing up. So I did that, and then that didn't go over too well, let's just say that, right? So they got to talking like, hey man, you need to take these posters down, right? So instead of taking the posters down, I was like, man, they just don't see my vision. let me go a step further. So when I would go out and do shows or do things like that, I would take pictures with people, right? So I started using the thumbtack board that they use for current events, and I started putting pictures of us out with like fans of the show. So we load this whole board up. We started taking announcements down, not knowing, just being naive to the whole process. We started taking announcements down, putting up pictures, right? We putting up pictures from all our like out and abouts around town and stuff. And I was like, this is gonna show them that, hey, we trying to, do this for the people. That didn't go over anywhere near well, right? So we had to take the posters down and all of that. But I started getting NBA players, NFL players, people on the show, rappers, everybody, right? So then I said, how can we make this show bigger? Because I'm thinking, man, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna go to ESPN, I'm gonna go all the way to the top. Rick Mo 6'4", right? This is before the clothing line was even thought of. So, and if it was thought of, it was way in the back of my mind. I'm still thinking I'm gonna be the next big TV star, radio star, whatever, on Mike and Mike in the morning or something, ESPN. So I keep going. I said, we need to get tickets to give away. So people were like, how we gonna get tickets? I said, man, I don't know. Nobody at W.A.U.G. knew how to get tickets to give away. I'm trying to give away tickets to the biggest concerts and the biggest events coming to the city. So I said, let me go on Craigslist. I'll buy some tickets from Craigslist. No big deal. Probably buy some tickets for cheap from some people trying to get rid of them and give them away on the air. Little did I know, the tickets was almost the same price, if not more, on Craigslist for the big events, because it's basically sold out. So I said, look, my buddy said, what we gonna do? I said, first of all, we need to get a website, because people that are out of town don't know how big our show is, but if we have a really, really nice website, then people will be able to see, wow, these guys know what they're doing, even though we were still in our first year. So we already knocked out the sponsorship. As long as I would stay on the sponsorship tip, we would be, we'd be good. And needless to say, I still had bills of my own in my household and everything to pay. I just had a new daughter. I had a new daughter on the way. Well, my only daughter. I only have 2 kids. So Nyla was on the way. So I'm like, man, we got to do something. I don't need any more bills, but I need to grow this show fast as possible. So I go and I say, let's go to Live Nation, right? Let's go to Live Nation. And the whole time I'm going over to Live Nation, I'm driving over to Live Nation like every day, trying to build a relationship with somebody. So I met somebody, and she said, man, you come over here all the time. You know what? I got a Lil Wayne show coming up. I'm gonna give you an opportunity, right? So they give us about 50 tickets, right? So I said, whoa, I thought they would give us like 4, right? So we not only could go to the show, but we could give tickets away on the air. Plus, I said, why don't we sell some of these tickets, because the show was sold out, and we could pay up some of our WAUG bills in advance. So little did I know, people was gonna be calling. We put an ad on Craigslist, right? To sell some tickets, but not through AUG or anything. We did it through like third party. One of our homeboys, whatever, was like, hey man, I can sell the tickets. So we didn't tell him to put an ad on Craigslist, but he put an ad on Craigslist and he had tickets, right? And sold them like hotcakes. And then we paid up our stuff for WAUG, and we was able to stay on the air longer, right? Because it was all about making it to another day, And as long as we got our money paid up, I don't think AUG, they didn't know we was selling tickets. They didn't know we was even, they didn't know we had a deal with Live Nation. So it worked, needless to say. So we promoted Live Nation show with some of the tickets. We sold some of the other ones to get sponsorship money to pay, along with the sponsorship money we was had for had from the other people. So it's going good. Everything's going great. We sitting. And that's what I tell people. You don't need a lot to do a lot. It's not it's not how much you have. It's what you do with what you have. So we had this small radio show. I convinced somebody to do a website for us, right? I told them I could give them tickets to all the big time events. So after we got going and we sold, those Lil Wayne tickets for that event, we had a little leg room. So I was able to go out and get more sponsorship dollars the right way and give them and pay our bills here at WAUG. So I took that and I said, you know what? Let's go get a website, a real legit website. I went to a whole bunch of website companies locally. Nobody would give me a chance as still. I met this guy named Jason, and he said, I'll give you a website. I'll give you $1,000 or something like the $2,000 credit for tickets to different events. I said, okay. So after I spent $500 on my W.A.U.G. website, he said, you still got $500 credit. I said, well, what I'm gonna do with $500 credit? He said, well, what about the clothing line you was telling me about? How does a website for that look? I said, man, it's just an idea. It's not anything I have ready to go right now. He was like, well, let's just set it up, and then when you do start it, you can start, with the clothing line. You can have somewhere to house it. So I said, okay, let's do that. So Now I Love Lee's first website was born that way. I started doing Now I Love Lee's, and I said, you know what? One day on W.A.U.G, I just said, hey, this hour is sponsored by Now I Love Lee's clothing. So I was getting a pretty big name, as Rick Moore 6'4". We sitting in front row of concerts, the biggest names in the business, right? So that's why I say you don't need a lot. So it's what you do with what you have, because we sitting in the front row backstage with promoters and some of the biggest people in the industry, and we on this AM station with one show a week. And people thinking we got the keys to the city or whatever, right? It's all on how we presented ourselves. We never presented ourselves like we were just, oh, we're in a little old AM station. Nah, we was like, you don't know about us? We the best. Like we the biggest, we the baddest. So we was live and direct and living from a radio perspective. We were at all the major events, just like all the people from the bigger stations. Matter of fact, some of the people from Radio 1 couldn't get tickets to some events sometimes, and they would call me and say, Rick, you got any tickets? And we would be getting 25, 30 tickets, whereas they, as staff members, some of them wouldn't even get 1 or 2 tickets to events. So it was a great thing, and it was a great time to be building something from the ground up with my buddies. We had a couple guys doing comedy on our show. We had a couple guys talking about, car, automobile, nooks and crannies and cracks, that little tips you could do to help your car stay running if you didn't have the money to take it to the shop. So we just always were evolving. But it just started growing. The clothing line just started growing, and I just had to come to a point to make a hard decision to leave the radio alone. So what I did was I started trying to go work these festivals and grow the clothing line, and let my homeboys run the show. But people would call in and say, hey, where's Rick Moore at? Let me talk to Rick Moore. And I would be on a live, like I would try to do a live remote, like I'm on a live remote, but really I was out trying to sell my clothing and push the brand. So we just had to come to a point. I couldn't keep affording to pay for radio space. I was trying to get W.A.U.G to give me a spot for free, but they just weren't in a position to do it. And things of that nature would just, it just didn't work out. And it was kind of tough at the time, because my buddies couldn't see my vision. They believed in me, but they just didn't understand why the show, when it's at the height, why would we stop? And I just told them I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford to keep it going and keep up, contributing to my household in the way that I needed to be. And my brand, I felt like if I was giving W.A.U.G 100% and I was giving my clothing company 100%, I still was only giving 50-50, and I just had to make a tough decision. In business, sometimes you have to make a lot of tough decisions. Not sometimes, you have to make a lot of tough decisions. So basically, that's what happened, and that was kind of where W.A.U.G, Barbershop Talk with Rick Moore stopped. So, but we had a great run. I mean, we went to we partnered with the American Heart Association. We did the American Cancer Society. We were doing a whole lot. I'm sitting in events. I'm sitting in events and venues with some of the most powerful people in our city, mayors and doctors and lawyers and politicians and all kind of people, all because we had we had this little small radio show, W.A.U.G, and we ended up getting ranked like 19th in Arbitron. That was we were the 19th, most popular show or station in this area or in the state or whatever, and that was huge because W.A.U.G had never been ranked in the top 200, I think, in ever. They never had the money to pay to get the Arbitron, because from what I understand, you had to pay to get the service to let you know what you rank so you could sell sponsorships to people. So we were able to help. I never forget, Donald came to me and told me, he's like, man, you made 19 in Arbitron, because if you're in the top 22, they give you a ranking, right? So anyway, Donald came to me and told me we made it, and I was elated, even though I didn't know what Arbitron was at that exact time. I was just hyped because the guy that gave me a shot, he was excited about something great I did for the radio station. So I just take it, and I'll tell you a quick story about the American Heart Association. It was a black tie gala, and it was like $200 a ticket to get in. We didn't have the money to go or whatever, and they were like, "Oh, the station can pay for y'all." So I was like, "Yeah, the station's going to take care of us or whatever." And the lady said, "Well, it's just a black tie gala, just suit, tux and everything, and and you'll be fine." So the way we got in was we were able to get signed, autographed, paraphernalia and things from NBA players and stuff. They would come on our show, and they couldn't get those type of items, so we gave them to them, and then they would auction them off. I said, "Fellas, we going to the American Heart Association gala." They were like, "Well, I don't have a tux." I was like, "Don't worry about it, I'll get it done." So it's weeks leading up to the gala. We like a week and a half out, and I called the men's warehouse. There was a nice lady over there, and she told me, she said, "Yeah, with the radio station." She said, "I heard of y'all show." She was like, "Yeah." I said, "Well, y'all donate some tux rentals to us?" And she said, she's like, "Yeah, we just need tax ID." Boom, boom. So I called W.A.U.G. and I was like, "Look, we need a tax ID for an event we have coming up." So they gave me the tax ID number, and we were able to give it to Men's Warehouse. The Men's Warehouse was able to say, "Yeah, we're going to give this tax rental to these guys for this event." And it was amazing because I met some people that I met there, some of those most powerful people in the city. I was able to go later, like when I started my clothing line, and secure like one of the people from that event I met years prior ended up loaning me money for my business years later after I had started and got it going. So it's just things just come full circle, and you never know where your journey's gonna lead you. So here it is. I started a radio show on the AM station, and then who would ever thought I would have had a successful clothing line later, where I would have needed to borrow money, and I couldn't get it from the bank, but I was able to get it from somebody I met at an event where I donated some items to that person that actually did it. So it's just that we're still good friends to this day, me and the gentleman. So it's amazing, man. This place really is special to me, and I just really love coming back. I love being able to bring my kids back here and say, "Hey, man, like we built something great over here." And a lot of people were looking down upon W.A.U.G. because it was an AM station. Nobody really wanted to be a part of an AM station. They wanted to be on FM, where they felt like all the heavy hitters were listening and people were listening. But I say you got to make yourself hot. If you make yourself hot, I looked at it as like, I don't need to go on FM. I said, just give me an airway, and I can make the people come to me. And that's what we did. We make the people tune in to us on a Saturday morning and listen to us because they felt the energy coming over the airways. And that's what's up. That's what you're supposed to do, and that's what you got to do in life. So my advice to a young entrepreneur or a young college student entrepreneur, use your resources. Like you're on a college campus with people from all over the country, all up and down the East Coast, West Coast. You got teachers and faculty that have been where you're at, and some of them have been where you're going. So definitely use the resources, because I was always the type of person, like, I'm running, y'all trying to walk. Like I'm running. Like if I'm telling you an idea, it's already racing around in my mind. Like, so when I hit the ground, gone, right? It's not, oh, I got an idea. Okay, hey man, let's get this together. Let's get that. I don't need a business plan. I never have. You need a business plan at some point when you want to introduce your ideas or grow your business, or take it to the bank to grow your business with their money. When you want to use other people's money, you may need a business plan. But when you're using your own money, your own ideas, your own resources, just you can take off. And that's what I did. I would always use my own money. I never wanted to use other people's money. You just, at the position I'm in now, I just have outgrown my pockets, right? So until you outgrow your own pockets, by outgrowing your own pockets, I mean, you can no longer afford to grow your business any bigger than what you already are, because you don't have the funds to do it. So you might need to travel out of town. You might need to go rent a car. You might need to rent a hotel room for you and 3 buddies, like stuff like that. The average entrepreneur just can't do it to drop of a dime. So that's when you need to insert other people, and your relationships and your resources come into play, because somebody might not have the money, but they might have the means to get you to the person who does have the money. So use your resources. And when I was in college, case in point, I didn't have a lot of money. So what we would do, a couple good friends of mine, we would go to my buddy's room and upstairs, and when our parents would send us care packages, they'd put $25, $50 in there, whatever. We'd take it up to his room and we'd get a dice game going. I said, hey man, like let's get, you know, this. And I'm not encouraging anybody to do any of this stuff. So just listen, I'm just telling you a story, and you can just to try to show you the level of like entrepreneurship the means we would go to. So I knew how to play craps and CeeLo, and I said, hey, let's just turn this into a little Vegas style like event. So we call everybody on Fridays when we get the packages or whatever from our moms or whatever, diving through it. I'm looking for that 25 or that hot $50 or whatever that she giving me for meals, and I'm going to throw it in a dice game to try to make a couple $100, right? So one day I won in the dice game or whatever, and it'd be like we made 10, 15 people at a time sometime in this dice, and then this game, so the stakes would get high, right? But I learned how to play dice because my mom wasn't always able to give me money. So when I was in middle school, I picked up this game. I was in the bathroom one day and I saw these guys rolling these dice. So that's how I picked up the game. And I was like, oh man, this is a cool way to make a couple extra dollars. And so we would do that, and I made a couple $100 one day, and I went to the mall and went to the sale rack, and I started buying all kinds of cool shirts that I thought were cool and clothes. So from the sale rack, from this store called Limbs, right? Up in Virginia. So I was at Hampton, I'm buying all these sale racks, and I would line my closet up with fresh clothes and take the sale tag off. So people would be getting ready to go to the club. You know, college students, they wait to the last minute. They didn't have cars, so freshman year at Hampton, none of us could have cars as freshmen. So I would say, hey, come to my room, I can get you right for that party. I can get you right for that event. And they would say, what you mean? I was like, man, come to my room, I got all the clothes, I got fresh stuff. You can get it half price sweater new, as Jay-Z would say in one of his songs. And when I heard that on Jay-Z's song, I was like, yo, that's what I could pitch to them. Yo, you can come get your clothes, you can get a brand new something for half price. They don't know that it was on sale at the place because they didn't have a car to get to the mall. So I started selling clothes to people, and they just started knowing to come to my room. So that was another way I was able to start my own business, kind of selling clothes to people and stuff, right? And that was before I started doing mixtapes and stuff. But so use your resources. I just used the resources I had. I said, hey, I could go. I went to the dice game. Hopefully I didn't lose my $25 or my whatever. And I just started growing and growing and growing. That was the quickest way I could grow it without asking my mom, can you loan me $300? Can you loan me $400? Whatever. That wasn't happening. So I went, got the money there, and I was always thinking about leveraging, like monetizing my money to monetize whatever it was I was doing to go to another level, go to another level, right? Because you never want to stay in the same position. You never want to stay idle. Like you never want to stay idle. You always want to, me as an entrepreneur, I'm always trying to go bigger. Like my clothing line now, I'm not thinking about making a couple $100,000. I'm thinking about making a couple $100 million. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm thinking like big time. Like I'm thinking my dreams are big, like huge. And like if your dreams don't scare you, if people don't laugh at your dreams, like when you tell it to them, then you're not dreaming big enough. I know I'm not dreaming big enough if people don't laugh at me. So that's what I would say. Whatever it is you're doing, go to, like for instance, what's some of the things you see entrepreneurs doing on campus? Maybe I can give you a better example of what, like some advice. Just say something, for instance, if somebody was doing. All right, so if you're a barber, right? If you're a barber or a hairstylist, right? If that was me, what I would do is I would say, I'm gonna charge $10 a head, right? The college student might be like, $10? Man, I can go to the shop. But what you wanna do is, you wanna get their mind thinking $10, right? So you might say, $5, man, I give you a haircut for $5. But when you advertising it around, get flyers and put them under everybody's door. Everybody on the campus that's a male, under their door. Then you go to everybody that's a female and you put it under their door. Yeah, females not gonna get a haircut, right? But some of them might wanna get a short haircut, might wanna get whatever. Or some of them might have male friends that they know and they can say, hey, so-and-so cut hair on our campus. So they might be visiting in town, whatever, need a haircut and can't get to the barbershop, right? Because friends visit friends on other campuses, right? So then, after you do that, you say, hey, when you see people around, hey man, you know that party coming up, hey, you don't have means to get to the barbershop, just walk to my dorm, and then people gonna start coming. You get your first customer, you might tell them $5, man, hey, I'll do you for free, I'll give you a cut for free, boom, boom, boom. And then you're cutting them for $5. but you're advertising 10. So the people gonna know your price, and when they see people start cutting, hey man, just get on Instagram or get on Facebook and tell people, hey, Rick cut me up, or Steve cut me up, gave me a fresh cut for the party or whatever, right? So you do that and you keep building, and you keep building. Soon, people not even gonna feel like walking across the street or getting in their car, driving to the barbershop. They're gonna walk across campus or walk a couple doors down and come to you and give you the business. Hairstylists the same way. Used to tell girls at school, if you a hairstylist, why you waiting for your mom to send you money? Girls need to get their hair done all the time. Go to each girl's dorm room and slide your card underneath their door. I always keep cards with me, right? My uncle told me this a long time ago. He said, Rick, he said, you wanna be successful? I was like, yeah. He was like, look, what do you do? I said, I sell mixtape. He was like, you sell mixtapes? I said, yeah. He said, so if I was with you, he said, right now, and somebody want to get a mixtape from you, how would they get it? I said, I'll tell them I sell mixtapes and give them my number. He said, how would they know to reach you? I was like, I don't know. So, and that's another thing. I'm going to stop right there too and tell you. I got lucky. I got some great uncles, right? My mom's brothers, Mike Ragland and Joe Ragland. And then my dad's brothers, rest in peace, my Uncle Keith. He was the baby brother out of there. And then my Uncle June, who's still living. So they were from my dad's side of the family from West Baltimore, my mom's side from Southeast DC. So they kind of grew up in some of the most treacherous, neighborhoods and things. Berry Farm, Washington DC, and then West Baltimore, in Baltimore. But they were able to show me both sides of the track. So my uncle was always dropping knowledge. All of them was always dropping, words of wisdom and encouragement and just seeds. They just sprinkling seeds, and I could take them and plant them and then try them out if I wanted, right? And then I would do that. So then he said, you should be everywhere you go. How many people you walk past? I was like, I walk past, I don't know. He said, you walk past thousands of people a day sometimes, depending on where you at. You should have cards all the time. That way you can always whip one out. To this day, I'm walking around. Hey, how you doing? It's my clothing line. Rick, here's my card. Check out my company. Check out my website and everything. And give us a look. I always keep a business card on me. Always. So that's one thing. That's the first thing a business should do. An entrepreneur should do. Always keep a business card. And not just any business card. I do fashion. I do clothing. It's visual. I'm not gonna give you some little bitty card. I'm gonna give you a 5x7 glossy flyer, right? I got a buddy of mine, Rick Crank, to take this picture. He's one of the best photographers in the state that I know for sure. And my other buddy, Ken Branson, Mastermind Productions, took this picture, right? This was for my Black Enterprise shoot. One of the pictures that was not used. So I said, you know what? I love this picture. I'm gonna use it on my flyer. I'm walking down Black Wall Street in Durham, North Carolina. So it just is very fitting for me. So I say that to say that's what I would do if I was a young entrepreneur and I was trying to be a barber. So, and you can take that approach and put it towards whatever it is you're doing, and just really focus in on what it is you're trying to do and do it. Like run, don't walk. Run. You either going like exist or you're going to live. Like, and I'm all about living. Like, just take for instance, say you're in college and you're 20 years old, right? Just say you're gonna live to be 100. Just say you're gonna live to be 100. You just take, you got 80 more years, right? 80 more years of your life. So you just take that and then you count down how many more days you have. And then you count down how many more hours you have. And you count how many more minutes you have. The clock is not extended. However it is, you might live to be 26, 27. You never wanna live your life thinking, gosh, I wish I would've did that. Gosh, I wish I would have ran and not walked. You gotta live. Like you never know when the good Lord's gonna call your number. So live. Like don't exist. Live. Like you gotta take all these resources at St. Aug. When I was in school, some girls I took for granted everybody was gonna come back next year, right? Like high school. Freshman year, everybody comes back, sophomore, junior, whatever, right? Some people don't come back. Some people transfer or whatever. In college, it's really like that. You might be with somebody first semester, they couldn't get the money second semester. Some girls get pregnant. Some guys, go on and get kicked out. Some girls, whatever the reason is. They're not guys, girls, things happen, right? People have kids. People do things things and get them put out of school, you want to use all your resources you have. You don't know how long you're going to be here. So take advantage of this school while you have it, whatever university it is. If you're at St. Augustine University, you're here as a freshman. Don't count on my senior years, I'm going to get my act together. I'm going to do this. Go to class now, from the first day you step on campus, and go to class and soak up all the knowledge that teacher has to give. You never know. The one day you miss class could be the one day that information was going to be given that could have changed your life. So go to class. Don't miss any opportunities. And plus, you're paying for this in some way. Even if you're on scholarship, your time is the way you're paying for it. Because that's the one thing you can't get back. So use your resources. Use your time wisely. That's all I would say. As a new entrepreneur trying to get on, turn their hobby into a business, because they say it's not a business until you make money doing it. All right. Last thing I would say, I would say, don't try to sell everything to everybody. Like, don't try to give away some stuff. Like when I say don't try to sell everything, if you're starting a business, don't go right out the gate and saying, hey, I want you to buy this, this, and this. You should say, hey, I want to give you this. Because if you give it to somebody, they'll be more inclined to take it and use it. Versus if you try to just sell it to them right away, you won't even get it in their hands. So give it to them. Let them try it first. Just like they do in stores. They give you samples. Because you try, you like, oh, I'm getting free samples. I'm going to get food. But you get no free samples, you thinking about, that was pretty good. Let me get a regular size and not a sample size. So I would just say, give people opportunities too. Like you always want to give people opportunities, because somebody gave me an opportunity, and I want to be able to give somebody else an opportunity, and I want to be able to give somebody else an opportunity. Like never try to get things and hold them all to yourself. That's horrible. Like don't be that person that's, you know what, I got all of this and nobody else is gonna get it. No, don't do that. Like, opportunity, D.R.U.G. was here for me to come use it for a little while, leave it in a good enough shape to where somebody else can come behind me and see what I use it for, and use it to the best of their ability. So prepare to be used. You know what I mean? If you can't be used, you're no good to anybody. Like, if you have a friend and you need a couple of dollars for lunch, they should be able to give you a couple of dollars. Because if they need money, they should be able to get it from you, vice versa. So prepare to be used, and you always have to, like, don't never ever take whatever somebody says for what it is. Always ask questions. Like, always, why? When I was a little kid, I would always say, why, mommy? Why, daddy? Why is it like that? And yeah, I would just keep asking why they thought, but I was asking why to try to figure out exactly why. What if somebody who's whack made this rule? And if you're just going along with the rule is, challenge everything. Challenge it. You know, like, if you have a issue with something, challenge it. And if it's worth you challenging it at another level, then go to that next level. Because sometimes people make rules for certain situations. And then when time goes along, things change and things evolve. So that rule might have worked for that point in time, 10 years ago. But now as the times change, the same rules don't apply. They don't work. It's just not feasible for people to be able to do it in that same way they did it. So things change, people change, and if you're ever trying to go get jobs or things of that nature, keep that same approach. You might have applied for a job 2 years ago, and now the person who didn't think you were cut out for the job has moved on to another company. So the new person now comes in and they like you. You're perfect for them. So timing is everything. And continue to check back and keep checking with different things and opportunities, because things change and positions change all the time. So you want to be able to put yourself and put your best foot forward. So that's it. And I would tell people, never look for the change, look for the opportunity. Because if you look for the opportunity may not even look like an opportunity. It may look like it's so much work, and it's not even a chance that can become a chance from that opportunity. But you want to take that, the smallest of opportunities can lead to the biggest of chances. So the radio show led me to a clothing line platform. And some of the same people that I had relationships with the tickets and things of that nature for my clothing line, for my radio show, I still have those connections now with my clothing line. So I went from radio to clothing, but I still have the same connections. And it's not what you know, it's who you know. So definitely, just always do your homework. I learned how to do my clothing line strictly off the internet. I went down the street, and I brought all my equipment before. That's one key thing I want people to know too. A lot of people go start clothing lines and you go straight to the guy who prints it. I wanted to cut out the middleman and I go straight from my mind to printing. So I went and bought my own t-shirt equipment, and then I still didn't know how to use it. So I went down and I walked in a guy's shop. His name is D.R.U.G.S. And I just walked in his shop with my daughter in my arm one day. She was 1, and I said, "Can you teach me how to print?" And he looked at me like I was crazy at first. Like, this guy just walked in the back of my shop where I was printing at and asked me to. I was like, "All right, I guess." And then now to this day, he's one of my mentors, and I'm still learning. I'm still learning things from him every single day about printing and making my craft better. So basically, just always like you want to cut the middleman out if you can, because the middleman is gonna lessen your profit. You know, like you cut the middleman out and you do it yourself, then you have more control. You have more say so. Like I never wanted to wait 2 weeks for somebody. I never wanted to wait 2 weeks for somebody to do my shirts, because 2 weeks could go by and somebody else could have got on top of the idea and they made all the money from it, or they got the best value, the most out of the opportunity. So that's it. My website is nylaelise.com. My Instagram is Nyla Elise Clothing. My Facebook is Nyla Elise. My Twitter is Nyla Elise. If you ever have any questions or anything you want to know, if you're a college student or whatever, feel free to email me. Feel free to Instagram me. Whatever it is, you have a question on, just get in touch with me some way. There's no excuse on not being able to reach me, because with the social platforms we have now, everybody's reachable. Like at an all-time high, everybody's reachable. You can reach some of your biggest celebrities and most wealthiest people strictly through social media. So there's no excuses anymore to get to people.
All right, people, it's a wrap.
Good job.